we are recording.
That's it.
Two straw buses coming and everybody's jumping. So when I was at the lacrosse game last night, they had the best playlist from the 90s from my high school days. And it was a party.
Nice.
Yeah, they played music the whole time. The DJ was going, and I was reliving my adolescence. It was such a good time.
That's always so fun. I don't know that song, but I
The
can
Venga
tell
Bus?
you do.
No, the Venga bus is coming and everybody's jumping. New York to San Francisco and inner city disco. No, maybe it's just because like I'm not singing it in the right pitch or tone.
Maybe it's because we grew up in different demographics.
You are as old as me.
Demographics, not generations. Two different things.
I'm like, stop it. You know this song.
You know all the old school R&B songs I know though. So I don't know.
I feel
that
like
one probably just missed me.
No, I feel like it was on at some point when you were like at one of those like 21 and under clubs out past your bedtime thinking you were super cool.
I know, right? Thinking I was so like, whatever. No, they were playing like Drew Hill and Casey and JoJo and all that stuff back then, but no
Venga Bus.
Whatever.
I'm pretty sure that's what it is before I get all offended.
I know, right? Bitch, it's Venga Bus. You look it up. Oh, it's not either.
Never mind. It's not even the song. It's fine.
Yeah. I'll look it up. Maybe I have heard it before. I'll look it up and see. Because that happens a lot with me and Adam, too, because he's from Scotland. And I'll be like, oh, you probably know that because it's like a British thing. And it's like, no, it's just something that I never heard of. For whatever reason. Just never hit my radar, and everyone else in America knows about it.
Yeah.
It happens a lot to me. So
it's surprising to me because I'm from Orange County, so I was in my little Orange County bubble, and I didn't realize people didn't know like who Sublime was or who was like some of these like, I don't know, really important bands in my adolescence.
Yeah,
like,
girl.
People never heard of them before.
I
on
never
the East
heard
Coast.
of Sublime. Yeah,
It is
until I
so upsetting.
Not until I like went to art school, and then I started hearing stuff that was in like that alternative section of what was that place called? Tower Records or whatever.
Oh, Tower Records.
That I never went to. I'm like, oh, okay, that's what this stuff is. I always like looking at the covers, but I never actually listened to any of the songs.
They were so good. I'm surprised that you weren't like drawn to some of those CD covers. I would like, it's like I would pick some of the CDs just based off of like the cover art.
Yeah.
And I mean, sometimes it was not what I wanted to listen to, but it was a really cool cover.
Well, they had like the little listening section, so I'd be like, nope, not my kind of music. I'll be putting that back. But they were playing some good chin music, sweet chin music last night in UFC.
Like, yeah, knockout after knockout.
Dude, it was a really good card. This is what happens when you have a really crazy big card and everyone's hype about it, and then you have a card that no one's really paying attention to. Usually you get some of the best fights of the year on that card.
Yeah, I did not pay attention to what was happening at all. And then I was like, wait a minute, it's Saturday. Oh, wait a minute, there are fights about to be on. I need to hurry home. Grace, let's go.
I'm like on Instagram, like, why are people weighing in? Is this from
Everything after UFC 300 is just like, I don't know, it took away all the color out of things. And then there was that like lull right afterwards where there was no fight. So I just was like, okay, this is our life now.
Yeah, we're just living in the shadow.
We just peaked
Yes.
at UFC 300.
There's no following that act for a while. I mean, we have 301, which is going to be a flyweight main event, and you're always just kind of like,
That
300 is a hard act to follow for a flyweight main event, but there could be blood in that matchup. We'll see.
Oh, you're so optimistic. That's adorable.
We'll see. I mean, the guy, the other side of Pantoja isn't really pulling his weight. I feel like
None.
he's such just a bland Benny. You know, just like a regular Rick. Like lame Lance. He's just like sitting there like, I don't know what it is about him, about his face, but
maybe he's just, one of those awkward introverts that
I think
hasn't
it's his
come out
chin.
of his shell. Leave him alone.
He's just like, anytime you see a guy with that chin, you don't think they can fight, but he can fight his ass off. So it's really, I hope this is his coming out party, especially if he gets the belt. It would be good to come out at this point as a personality
it would
and
be
a fun
the time.
person
it
to
would
watch
be the
fight.
time.
But I think all the real MMA fans watching the flyweight division, they know about him. Seg.
Even how you say his name is just like so much disdain.
Eric Seg. I don't know. What's his first name? I don't know. I'm on the like...
I don't know. Let me
annoying Andy. But that it should be a banger of a fight because he can fight his ass off, and Pantoja's been killing it.
It's interesting that I know I've seen him fight,
but you can't put your finger
I
on
can't
when.
put my finger on when. I know.
Yo, how did he do this?
It's really hard.
How did he make it to this point? I know I'm
there
not
are
the only
other-
one, right?
No, they were actually talking about this. Like
Okay.
somebody was talking about it in an interview, and I cannot remember for the life of me who it was. But in passing it, like it perked my ears up because they were saying, yeah, this guy that nobody's ever heard of is all of a sudden the main event, and it's not a short notice fight.
No, this
It's
was
like-
planned.
Yes, but there's been no build up on it.
No,
Because there's nothing to build up.
I don't know, man.
You
Like,
guys can scrap together some footage for this guy.
yeah, I feel like maybe the UFC is dropping a ball on promoting the guy. Like, maybe they just feel like it's a slam dunk for Pantoja, or they're gonna wait and see how much they're gonna spend on sending a camera crew out to Australia. But I don't know. For whatever reason, we haven't seen a lot about him. We haven't really been pushed to like him in the way that we have other contenders coming up. Like, think about Pereira on his come up to fight Izzy. Like, you were hearing about him after every fight, like after his debut, after his next knockout, his next one. Everyone's like, oh my God, I can't wait for this fight to happen. Nothing of the sort happened with Steve Erceg. Nothing of the sort happened with Steve.
And he's on an 11-fight win streak
That's
in the flyweight
insane.
division.
That's insane.
That's insane.
It's one of the hardest divisions to have a win streak in, too.
It is. It's a brutal division.
Yeah, like
It's
everyone
so
can
deep
beat
with talent.
everyone
Yeah.
on any given day. Maybe because he's only 3 fights in, so I'm looking at his record now. He's 3 fights in and he's getting a title shot, so that's pretty wild. But I think the KO over Matt Schnell kind of pushed him up. I don't know. It's an odd one. It really is.
It is. Well, I hope for his sake. I mean, it's kind of unfair to do that to a fighter in a weird sense, if that
Yeah.
makes sense. It's you don't get to like build yourself up and like make your brand
Mhm.
and like really put a stamp on who you are as a fighter. You're just kind of thrown into it, and
And it's a really tough match.
It's a really tough
ahead of
matchup.
him, better than anyone that he's fought combined.
yes,
In Pantoja, he is just a monster right now.
yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see if that personality, that ability comes out. His nickname is Astro Boy. You think him and Astro Girl ever got together?
I mean, they're from the same place. We should call her and ask
I
her.
know. You should ask her. She be robbing the cradle a bit, but ain't nothing wrong with that. Age ain't nothing but a number.
She's a spring chicken still. She's
She
still got it.
is.
She still looks like she's in her 20s.
She does. All right. So that's happening. But this week, we watched some killer fights. I thought the main event was like really interesting and nasty. The flyweights.
Oh, Perez looked amazing.
Yeah, Perez. We were talking about him when he fought Mokaev, and I think everyone was just like, ooh, here we go. Like another guy coming back and fighting the new blood, and it's going to be sad for all the old heads that remember him when he was great. And he looked really good. Like, he looked really good. He was on form. It was just like maybe a few little adjustments, and he might have won that fight. So in this one, he made those adjustments.
He came on so strong. I loved every time Niccolo would cover up, he would just come forward. I was like, oh, that's what that's supposed to look like. He just like walk forward and punch, and his body work was really great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a really impressive fight, and I'm happy to see him, come back so soon as well.
Yeah.
So it's like he didn't lose any of that momentum from his previous fight after such a long layoff.
Yeah, it was really crazy to see him just so confident in there. And then, like, there was a lot of talk about his confidence, how he was working on that. He was talking with our buddy, what's his name? Cody Garbrandt. He was like a big friend of his, helping him with the confidence thing and everything. And then just having his team behind him. And he just seemed really in tune with the way that he wanted to fight, and it worked out. And it kind of sucks because a lot of times you see that happen and it doesn't work out. Like, people are really trusting of their corner, they're really listening, they're fighting well, and then they get knocked out, like the Ryan Spann fight. I thought that was like, he was doing really well, and then just didn't work out the way they wanted it to, but it was still like a fight where you can take a lot of good things from.
He did good things.
Yeah. A lot of good things.
And that's what Perez did in his previous fight. And it's nice to see him, stay. He's one of those people that like, he's staying with his team at Oyama's, and like a lot of people have like come and gone from that gym. But I do like the idea of, staying where you started and like evolving as a team together.
Yeah.
Jamal Hill talked a lot about that, with why he keeps, staying with that camp. And there's an opportunity for the coaches to evolve. There's an opportunity for the fighters and teammates to evolve. So I really like that togetherness.
Yeah. I feel like people assume that fighters are the only ones who evolve in the game, and I think that's the same with a lot of sports. You assume that the players are the ones that have to learn everything, and the coaches are just these like things, these gurus,
all-knowing beings.
All knowing. If it's not a good coach, they're not gonna learn how to be a good coach. If they're a good coach, they're always going to be a good coach, and everyone's abilities ebb and flow with the growth of the sport. So you see a lot of old school coaches making fighters do old school things, and if they don't adjust, then their fighters are going to keep losing to these new school guys. And I think when you do have a team that grows with you, it's a really good thing to see. And like, that's what you saw with Oyama. He was also working with a classic fight team. What's his name? Tyler Wombles. Yeah. Womble. I like that Wombles name. I never forget the Wombles part. But also a really nuanced kind of striking coach as well. So you can tell he has a good mesh of people in his corner. And like, man, I'd be impressed to see him fight for the title. Like, I know he's gonna have to get past that Makayev loss, but that would be, people love strikers. People love people who can knock each other out, and who can do that at flyweight right now, who has a streak going. So I don't think it's going to be a long road to climb for him to get back in a title shot.
I don't think so either.
Opportunity, yeah.
Another fight that I was really excited about, which I didn't know I was excited about until it started, was Pierce versus Onama.
Oh.
It was a really fun, scrambly, like back and forth fight. I had Pierce up on it, but they gave Onama the unanimous decision.
Okay, I might have missed that one, but please continue.
It was really fun.
Oh wait, no, I did watch that one. Yeah. That fight was fun. It was fun. Onama just has this way of like making it harder for himself. Because remember when he fought Nate Landwehr? Yes. Yo, I was like, Nate, you're playing with fire.
What are you doing?
How is this guy falling into your trap every time? Because like every time Nate would just stop beating him and turn around and flex at the crowd. Onama was just kind of like waiting for him to turn back around and fight him. Like, yo, like this guy needs to attack. And I think a similar thing happened in this fight where Onama would get to a point where he could get some separation, but he just wanted to prove that he could grapple so much. Like, he just wanted to prove it. And it's like, no, dude, you're like jumping on him, getting too high, falling off, and landing on your back. Like, there were so many little moments where he could have separated and started on his, like, you know, on his striking game again, on his feint game again. It was a really good fight. Yeah, I enjoyed that one.
It was fun. There was I saw Aljamain tweet something kind of shady. It was like a compliment and then shade. And
what did he say?
I was like, easy guy. He said, "Oh, this is like and it's not a direct quote, but it's a really exciting fight. Some, you know, sloppy mistakes, but exciting, you know, nonetheless." And it was like, easy black belt, new featherweight. Calm down. You don't have to throw shade.
He's like, these guys are ranked. Oh, they're not, but just weighing in on my new weight class.
Yes.
Yeah, just showing you guys.
Everyone can get it.
Hey, everyone.
But I loved the way Pierce came in. I loved his pace, his just willingness to put himself in bad situations. And I mean, maybe that was the sloppiness, or maybe it was, you know,
I think he was talking shit about Onama.
Oh, do you think he was?
Yeah, because he was just jump right back into the danger zone. Like, he did that multiple times and kind of jumped back in and almost looked like he was going to get to a good position, but then Pierce just would shuck him off.
And see, that's confusing to me that he was given a unanimous decision victory.
Yeah.
Because Pierce had his back in multiple rounds for, like, he had a lot of control time.
I thought it was 1-1 going into the third.
That's what I thought.
And did he get like a 30-27 or something?
I just remember it was unanimous.
Okay.
And it was confusing to me.
Huh.
And then I was like, who the fuck are the judges?
Yeah. I don't remember what happened in the very end, but I feel like it was a pretty close, like, last round. And yeah, I feel like I always lean towards the strikers, but that's because of my own biases.
At least you can acknowledge that.
It is what it is. But it wasn't a fight that I'd be confident I was getting my hand raised at the end of it. Either way. Yeah.
Either one.
But yeah, it was a good fight. And then we talked about it a little bit, but how did you like that fight with the co-main? We had
Anthony Smith's twin.
He looks like
He looks like
when you take a clone of a clone,
and it's just
like
not
you took
quite right.
2 Anthony Smith clones and then cloned Anthony Smith out of those 2 clones.
That always happens when I'm
when does this happen?
When I'm cloning mushrooms.
Oh shit!
It happens. It happened. Like, they get a little wonky. Like, you can only clone it once. I've learned that.
Mad scientist Jess over here. I'm like, what are you cloning?
I had a lot of free time during lockdown.
That is wild.
So I was cloning mushrooms and agar. I was, you know, doing all sorts of fun experiments.
So the theory is true. If you clone a
it's
clone,
fucking true. They start getting wonky.
It looks
exactly.
It looks like
that.
That guy. Oh man, even his name sounds like something he come up with. The fucking clone name.
He's
Bogdan Gustav.
Did you ever see Highlander on HBO?
Yeah.
Like the guy that would walk around and he was like the doppelganger, but his face was kind of like not saying that his face looks that came out very wrong. I know. Well, you were just talking about poor Eggic's chin.
I mean Anthony Smith, he already kind of has that like orc look about him because of the brow and like the circle head. You know, he just like kind of has Bogdan just looks even more like an orc, especially with his name being Bogdan Gustav. Like,
he would definitely get cast in Lord of the Rings.
He would. He would. He'd have a whole orc faction behind him. He'd be the strongest orc warrior of his guild.
Yes. Killing people with one fist.
Yeah.
Smashing all the elves.
Smashing them with his club with spikes in it. That's what he did to poor Span. Like he hit him with the fucking orc punch and dropped him. And like I was saying before, Ryan Span was fighting a great fight.
He looks really good. He I'm continuously impressed with him.
Yeah.
How, his evolution, and I feel like every time he shows up better.
Yeah.
It's really nice to watch.
Yeah, I hope he doesn't get just kind of deterred from that game plan. I think it was working well for him. Maybe he just got a little tired from the squeezing, because I know as a striker, when you start wrestling in fights, the first couple of times you might put a little too much energy into the wrong positions. Yes. So instead of like grabbing them and fucking with them and then letting them take you to the next position, you try to force things a little bit, and then your arms can be more tired than the person you were wrestling. So that's kind of what it seemed like. He was doing a great job of controlling in the first round, and then Bogdan recharged his meter and was just on top of him, like just faster to the punch. Ryan Span was dipping a bed, and then he read it and hit him with a big old nasty uppercut.
It's hard. It's hard because it's there's so much devastation around a knockout, and there's a lot of frustration. But there's a lot of times, like, there's just, when you get hit on the button like that, there's not a lot you can do, and it's hard to not focus on that in that fight. And I hope he can focus on all the good stuff that he did.
Yeah, for sure.
Because there's so many positive takeaways, like you were saying. But sometimes it's really hard. Like, you can only focus on just that one moment. And when it comes to knockouts, it's like, sometimes it's, you know, a bit of luck, nice timing, preparation meets opportunity, and all that kind of stuff. But sometimes you just get hit on the right spot, and there's nothing you can do about it. And there's nothing you could have done about it. And the heavier weight classes, you know, it's almost like a coin toss sometimes.
Yeah, it looked technical though. Like
I wasn't saying that it was like a spazzy, like awful punch.
I'm
or
just
anything
addressing
like that.
In case someone takes that the wrong way. They're like,
they take
so stupid.
Everything the wrong way. Literally every time I post a clip, I'm like, did you guys even listen past the word that triggered you?
They're like, Bogdan punch good. No luck, skill. Bogdan destroy all, including Jessica.
No, it's really frustrating sometimes. I'm like, literally, if you would just listen to the rest of the clip, you would have understood. Like when we were talking about the USADA stuff, how like, hey, if you could just call in the morning when you're on your way, when you are on your way, just to make sure where we are. Because how many times have we like gotten a call and be like, hey, you're not where your whereabouts says that you're supposed to be? I'm like, I'm sorry, life happens. Yeah. But yeah, you can meet me here. So just to avoid that. But then people are like, that defeats the whole purpose. You only need 10 minutes to get past or to be able to pass a test. I'm like,
yeah, no, that's how Jose Aldo was able to hide under the ring, because they called first. It's like, no, then you get a mark against you saying that you missed your test, and you're still in trouble.
They're going to get you the next day.
They're going to get you eventually.
Yeah,
they'll come back. I think that would be great. They actually came after that post. I feel like we.
I know. I was kind of waiting. I was like, I feel like I called them.
You summoned them. You summoned her. She came and she had to spend the later half of the day with me because I had just peed. If she had called beforehand, I would have had that. I would have had it ready for her.
Yep.
Hot and steamy, ready to shoot into the cup. But yeah, just peed, so she had to wait until after training and had to sit through a whole class watching. But she was really cute with it. I don't think she's ever like watched
a female pee before.
No, she's watched plenty. I don't think she's ever watched a Muay Thai class. So I took her over to Still, and she was just hanging out. And people were like, Adam, is that your mom? Because she's just watching, like, oh, wow. You know, really
so
enjoying.
Happy to be there.
Yeah, just enjoying the festivities, you know, watching me spar and stuff. So, yeah, it was pretty funny. I'm, like, peeing into the cup. And she's like, wow, that was really cool. Like, thanks.
Good job.
Thanks. Thanks, Miss Tester Lady. I aim to please.
And you aimed properly in the cup. Good
Yes.
job. You didn't spill a drop.
I didn't.
Good job.
I was skillful all night.
One of the comments that I read, this guy said that he literally has watched a female shove a water bottle of piss up herself. I was like, in what? I need more details. I didn't respond because I really did not want to get into it. I did not have the energy at that time. But that comment has been like holding space in my mind. Like every once in a while, it'll like pass by. I'm like, a water bottle up the vagina.
I mean, there's things that you can do. Like we're not idiots. We know there's things that you can do to pretend that you're peeing into a cup. But you haven't noticed isn't going to stop you from making the decision to do this.
Yes.
You know, like you're either going to cheat or you're not going to cheat. And having noticed just makes it more convenient for the people who aren't cheating, because we're not. And it's just really frustrating to be kind of treated like cheaters. It's like the stop and frisk rule that got like turned over finally in New York. Is like, you know, just because we're athletes doesn't mean we're cheaters. Just because I'm black doesn't mean I have a gun in my backpack. You know what I mean? It just makes you feel like you're doing something dirty, even though you just forgot to tell them where you're going to be on Tuesday.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating because I always forget.
It's like walking up to customs in Canada. I feel like they always look at me like I've done something wrong. And the way they ask their questions, I'm like, I don't know. Am I a criminal? Have I gotten a DUI?
Right.
Have I? I don't know. The way that like the energy they come at me with, I'm just like I swear I am an upstanding citizen.
Yeah.
I pay all my bills on time.
I don't want to live here.
I'm just trying to visit.
Yeah, not the way you guys treated me.
Oh my God. I'm like, I never want to come
I'm
back
outta here.
I swear.
Yeah, so people have all sorts of opinions on that, but I feel like the people with the strongest opinions are the ones who have never been in the testing pool for years. They always have the strongest opinions on
because they have
how
no idea what they're talking about.
Yeah.
But they love to talk about it. It's so weird how that happens.
I know. But yeah, I enjoyed Bogdan's performance. Looking forward to more orc smash fights. And then I just want to talk about how nice Kirini Silva's, is it Carini or Kalini? Carini Silva's afro is. It's so gorgeous. It's like a really nice. So my ideal afro, if I were to pick, would be one like that, because she has like the looser curls. So it's easier to stay fluffed. It doesn't like shrink when it gets wet. It's just like always fluffy and ready to go. That's why she can come out and after her weight cut with a nice fluffy fro.
Okay.
It's a really nice. Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was on everybody's T-shirts last
so
night
good.
during fight night. Too.
Ah,
Yeah,
nice.
it was cute.
Yeah, it's such a cute afro. So I just want to throw it out there. She has like, I won't say the best.
Oh.
Maybe tied
with yours.
But she gets extra points because of the carefreeness of it. She can just flip it out there whenever she wants. My afro takes
it look like that.
time and effort. Well, you can tell the curl pattern. She's more like a, I'd say like a, maybe like a 4A.
Okay.
I'm like a 4C.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot more crimping.
Okay.
With my curl.
I don't know what that means, but I'm
She might even be a 3A. You never know. But
I'm trying to relate it to like makeup skin tones.
I know, right?
I don't know what that means.
It's like a really pretty like Jewish afro.
Okay.
Yeah, like very curly. The curls are defined, but it still has body.
Yeah.
It still sticks up, defies gravity. That's like great afro.
Nice.
Yeah. Good job. Good job having that.
Thank your
having
parents.
That afro.
Thank your parents. They did great for
made
you.
me want to take my braids out.
I love your braids. Don't take them out.
Well, I'm actually going to get it refreshed because I am 3 weeks out as of yesterday. Yeah. So I gotta get him touched up just so I'm not going in there with dusty braids.
Oh no, you can't have dusty braids.
No.
You look good, you fight good.
Exactly. So I'm gonna get the fresh do next week. So I'm gonna take my braids out, give my hair a little time to breathe, get my Carini going, and then wrap it right back up.
Yes.
Because otherwise it's gonna get ripped out in training. A little afro donut hole. Any other fights on that card that just kind of made you excited? Made you excited to
be alive?
To still be watching UFC after UFC 300?
No. No.
I'm
being honest.
Oh.
That 300 card was just...
Yeah. One I'll mention, and just because I met the guy before, but Victor Henry versus... My friend. Victor Henry versus Rani Yaya. I feel like he is like kind of under the radar too. He's one of those guys who got into the UFC like late in their career, but he has almost as many fights as Rani Yaya. And he kind of fights that way too. Like he fights like a seasoned veteran. But Victor Henry, I feel like, is one to watch. And poor Rani Yaya, man.
It's a hard one. He's really great at what he does. And he's like, he's got crazy pressure. He used to train at one of the gyms that I was at up in Orange County, like years and years ago.
Did he have bangs then too?
No, he had a full head of hair. It would like... He needs to go to Saudi Arabia, wherever all the other guys are going.
I know. Or he can lean into it. We were saying that he could get the Chelsea. Like that.
The Chelsea.
That haircut where it's just bangs and the rest is shaved. Just.
I mean, it kind of already is.
It's a natural Chelsea. But just do it. Just shave it off.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why he's holding on to that. I don't understand.
Because it's been a few fights. It's not like,
this was the worst.
This was the worst, right?
Yes,
okay.
This was the worst.
Because a lot of times you'll not see it until you see yourself on tape, and then the guy will be like, "Oh, I'm balding. No one told me." Thanks, guys. And those overhead lights are really harsh too.
They're very unforgiving.
So you can get away with it at a club, but when you're fighting,
I don't even think you could get away with this one at a club.
Like maybe with a hat on.
He's got to know. He's got to know.
He has to.
He knows.
He knows. Maybe his wife likes it.
I don't know. I don't know how she could.
What was that movie? Was it there was a movie where the chick was like, "I want you to grow your bangs out," and then the guy did it.
Oh, it was it Forgetting Sarah Marshall? No,
it was like Heartbreak Kid or something.
Yeah, yes. It was one of those.
Yeah, and the guy was so whipped that he grew him out, and it just looked horrible. But yeah, maybe his wife likes it. That had to be based off of something. He's married, right?
I don't know. Somebody needs to say something.
Oh,
I'm sure it's been in the comments somewhere.
I'm sure. Well, it makes him look older than he is too. He's my age. It looks ancient because of the hair. I really think it's the hair. Like the hair makes you look older
helping.
past your years.
It's
like
not helping.
Adam's been 35 since he was 20. Because he bald at a young age, but he shaved it, so it made it easier to look younger.
Now he's unaging like Paul Rudd.
Yeah, he's just gonna stay that
forever, 35,
age forever. But same. Black and bald don't crack as long as he shaved it.
He's gonna start cracking though.
Ah,
Before you do.
It's fine. Men look great when they start cracking. That's a fucked up thing,
isn't it?
Yeah, it's like the more like distinguished wrinkles you have.
Yeah, put a little gray hair, receding hairline, something like that. I'm like, he's financially stable.
Yo,
he knows how to treat a lady.
His hands are strong and weathered. He's been working all his life.
Yes,
old man muscle. Mm-hmm. Hold me. Protect me. Yeah.
Just like that.
Yeah. Yeah, we all have daddy issues, but
We all, my God.
Anyway, yeah, that was a good fight. He got the finish, which is hard to do with Ronnie. Yeah, he's so annoying. With his grappling,
He has crazy pressure.
He's grabbing, yeah, his pressure, his strikes too. Like, man, he'll get you thinking about one thing and then kick you in the head and then take you down and then let you up just to punch you and take you down again and then go for a rolling knee bar. So I was impressed with Victor Henry for being able to kind of solve that puzzle because it can trip a lot of people up. And I think he kind of showed his seasoning there, and that the more he fights, the more we're going to get to see something interesting from him. But yeah, also BKFC happened last night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Conor McGregor is now part owner in BKFC.
It's so crazy.
I'm like, thank goodness, because I was wondering how they were gonna support all of those like big payrolls. I'm like, they need something because
they got that proper 12 money now.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
They're not selling tickets.
No, it seemed pretty packed though. This one,
the Peacock whatever venue is. It's not big.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's not big.
Yeah, but it seemed packed. I feel like when I see stuff like PFL, for instance, it always looks like they did it in a closed studio. You know what I mean? Like
they added like strobe lights,
yeah,
for effect, so it looks like it's more crowded than it is.
Yeah, like it's like Wheel of Fortune crowd.
Yeah,
you know.
They have the clapping audio.
Yeah, everyone's in one section, so it looks full. But it actually looked like a packed arena this time. But yeah, I've always wondered how they can pay everyone with what they do, because the production keeps getting better too.
Mm-hmm.
They're definitely putting money into the right places to be taken seriously. Yeah, it's interesting. I wonder how much Conor's gonna be involved in it. Is he just like, hey, I'm the owner, boom, throws his lawyers at it, throws his accountant at it, makes things happen, or is he gonna be in the?
Would you want Conor McGregor handling your business dealings? I feel like he is like he has such a big name. He can be like the headpiece, the figurehead, but like there are like a whole panel of people, very smart, savvy business people and lawyers and accountants and all these things, like calling the shots.
What I want to know is he going to try to like Dana White the situation?
That's what I'm thinking. Like, yeah. That's what I'm saying.
But Dana does have a lot of pull, even though he's not the head person calling the shots. Like if he was making a decision that needed to be overthrown for the sake of the company, then that would happen.
I feel like he's just a money guy and attracting attention with his name.
With Conor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But I wonder if he's going to have any say in the workings of anything. Because it seems like he loves the spotlight and he loves, I don't know, just there was one moment where he got in the cage after Mike Perry had fought, and he was just like, And Mike Perry's like, oh, we're going to fight next. And remember that? Like, that was a big deal, and people were like, oh, is Conor McGregor going to do bare knuckle? Do you think, like, would you put that past him? Like, I know he can't right now because he has a fight, but
who knows?
Who knows, like, how his contract is made with the UFC, too? Like, he could have some crazy stipulations that he can do whatever he wants, just not during fight camp. I don't know. It's very strange.
I don't even know what that would look like. The way that I see it, and I could be wrong or right, is just that he's going to be attracting a lot more eyes to bare knuckle. I feel like that's...
Oh, no, for sure.
You know, I feel like that's the main goal, because when he came in, when Beck was fighting Christine for the first time, and we were in Denver, and he was there, and that was the start of, you know, all of the buzz about him, you know, being involved with BKFC in some way, but we didn't know like what capacity it was going to be. But it just automatically made their numbers grow.
And how long ago was that?
That was last December, not this last December, previous December.
Ah, okay. So like a year and a half of negotiations and stuff, and now they can finally make the announcement.
Yeah.
Go ahead, BKFC. You better do your thing.
I mean, I love that, they're trying to make things happen. When I was in Salt Lake City with Beck, they had a whole bunch of financial backers and they had different commissions there. They're really trying to like break through and be mainstream and be a legitimized sport, which I appreciate, the way they're going about it. And I think somebody like Conor McGregor with the name and the pull can only
the history.
Can only do good things for them.
The history of his country.
Yes.
And the whole fisticuffs to Queensberry rules and all that shit.
Yeah.
It has to, it's definitely going to boost it for sure. That and the sanctioning everywhere too. This was their first show in LA. And we had like a couple people over last night and everyone was like, wait, this is in LA? Like they allow this in LA and it's a pretty big deal. It's a pretty big deal. It felt like when it first started, one of those things that you'd only be able to do on like
an Indian reservation somewhere in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. Or in like the middle of the ocean where there's no rules. Something shady.
Somewhere, yeah.
Yeah. So it's cool that it's gonna be allowed everywhere eventually, and there's just more money to be made off of the hands of poor fighters.
Dude, it's
broken
brutal.
Hands.
Yeah, I hope they up their insurance policy and take care of people a little bit better.
It for a while it looked like Conor was really about that too. So hopefully he'll keep that energy when he's the one writing the checks. But yeah, it was a pretty that was a pretty big what do you call it? Big announcement. And then there was some crazy fights on there too. Mike Perez or
yes. Perry versus Alves.
Mike Perry.
That was a big one.
I was like, wait.
You were like merging the names.
Yeah, no, I was looking at Alex Perez and I'm like, wait, that's not his name.
He fought last night, just different organizations.
Just totally different organization, weight class, fight rules, everything.
But I understand how you got there.
Yeah, my notes. I need to separate them with more paragraphs. Dude, he's just fucking everyone up. Mike Perry is.
He was made for this.
He was.
It was made for him. It was meant to be.
He was not a clone of a clone. He was the first experiment gone right.
Yes.
Yeah. Just like a dash of like anger. Insanity, power, bone density.
Confidence.
And one pinch of blackness. Just a pinch.
That's what did it.
Just a little bit of pepper.
That's it. That's what set him over.
That got him in there, man. And he's just killing everyone in there. And then, unfortunately, our boy Lorenzo Hunt. Did you see how that happened?
I only saw, the quick highlight. It was a short fight as well. Yeah. It's just it's heartbreaking. I know he had, huge aspirations and what he's trying to do and becoming, a multiple division champ in bare knuckle boxing and going up, 2 weight classes above what his like normal fighting weight class would be. That it's just hard to see it like that. That was such a freak thing.
It nothing had happened before that. Yeah. So we're watching the fight. It was like some punches thrown back and forth, but there were no real big moments until he got clipped with that uppercut.
Yeah.
And you could tell he was fully awake as he was falling, but it's almost like there was a half a second loss. And then he thought he was almost at the ground, but the ground wasn't there yet. He kind of came to faster than he realized, it seemed like. And his hand went back and just crumbled over it. Oh, it was so horrible to watch because in real time, you didn't know how it happened. And then they showed the replay and such a freak accident, man, is so horrible. We've seen other people just kind of fall in really bad ways getting clipped in bare knuckle. Remember that girl
The ankle.
Oh my God.
Oh, the ankle.
She fell over her ankle. She comes back to, she sees her foot is the wrong way. Tries to crank it back in place like it's just dislocated and stands up and then falls over again. Man.
Oh, poor thing.
That girl, she was a G, man. Like, I want her on my zombie apocalypse squad because she's like, I'm good. I'm good. Don't worry. I'm going to keep fighting. But, man, poor Lorenzo Hunt, you could tell, like, there's so much preparation going into that fight. He was fighting a monster, too. And for it to end that way, I feel like everyone's just kind of like, man.
You know, fortunately, they'll run it back as soon as they can.
Yeah, hopefully. Hopefully it's not such a bad injury that he'll be back on his feet pretty soon. But yeah, there was some good fights, man.
Well, let's take the rest of the show onto our exclusive side.
Yes, and we can talk about all sorts of things like Charlie Arnold stepping in for Joe Martinez.
Oh my gosh.
Throat quiver. Yo, we'll talk about that.